We are live. This is the market update. I'm your host, Bill Noble. The Federal Reserve to hike or not to hike, to get out of town or not get out of town. The dollar to go to 92 or 0. Want to know more? Don't go anywhere. Want to see the Bitcoin chart? Where is Bitcoin going to top out? 28, 38? Don't go anywhere. Okay, let's welcome who's on the stream. We have Arte from Boulder. Bull Runner is here. Tito, GF, SEO, Kenneth, Armzilla, welcome. DM Crypto, Ronak, Jeff, BitBoy Al, welcome. Right? Marlin Pond in the house. Right? On the road in Alabama, better than South Dakota. Copy that. Pancakes and peanut butter. Crypto to cash. Middle Georgia in the house. Big Rich. Bart Hendricks. Bill, good to see you, sir. Now that I have my own channel. Yes, welcome. Hello from rainy Manchester, UK. And Luis with Notorious Love. Okay, I'm diving into news. And as usual, everyone's looking at the wrong news. But that's okay. We will help sort it out. All right. Let's begin with Gann TA. All right. 1875 to 1900 is resistance in Ethereum. If Ethereum breaks through that, it will probably be some sort of massive buying climax between now and April 7th. I'm thinking sooner rather than later, but Ethereum is due for a huge wick up. Here's a news item. Amazon to lay off 9,000 more workers in addition to earlier cuts. So I hope the Federal Reserve is happy about this. I'm not, right? This is the heart of America, and these people are not going to be able to get work anytime soon. And to think they're still talking about raising rates to control inflation, where inflation and housing prices are going to fall out of bed probably within 2 months, and they're going to go, oops, we went too far. Bitcoin soars 30% over the week as global banks roil. Now, what's wrong with this picture? Well, the media has picked up the Bitcoin story. We picked up the Bitcoin story at 16, 20, 21. You know, it's not a bull market until you can buy the dip and make money. And now the media is probably going to buy the top between now and the end of the month. So there will be an opportunity to take profits at some point, at least some profits. Looking to get this thing back. That's one angle. The second angle is that Gann research with ChatGPT says this eclipse in April, late April, the 20th, means you could be in for another month of gains. So is the media buying the top now? Maybe a tactical top, right? Wait until you see where the media is going to be on April 20th, right? Because believe it or not, the eclipse is good for Bitcoin and bad for the financial system. Okay. So whatever's going on out there is not over, and we'll get into that. Meanwhile, Canada faces $15 billion loss on oil pipeline. You know, one of the things that's not being talked about, which of course is why we want to talk about it, is the colossal failure in the executive branches in countries like the United States, Canada, and maybe even France, right? There has been catastrophic economic decisions that have led us right into the palm of Vladimir Putin's hands. Right? Vladimir Putin wanted to invade Ukraine, have us respond with sanctions, which will create inflation, where the Fed would hike rates, and then our system and our currency would crack. And you know what? We walked right into it. Our energy independence going down the drain. This Canadian example, just one. Speaking of that, China and Russia gas talks show how much Putin and Z are just, getting along, right? The sharks are circling around the dollar, and we walked right into it. Everyone's blaming the Fed. I don't know if that's fair. I don't know if that's totally fair. We'll talk about that later. But energy, commodities, we basically handed the advantage to our enemies. And the consequences for the dollar are grave. But for crypto, say between now and April, it's really good. FDIC sells signature bank deposits to Flagstar, crypto not included. So the media has found a new addiction. It's called XYZ bank fails, and then XYZ gets bailed out, right? It's the bailout of the day. What's the bailout of the day? Who cares? We're now at that point where it's blasé, when the media is like hyper fixated on it. Remember when all the media would do was run FTX disaster stories? Meanwhile, we're on the market update, just hoovering in all of crypto. Yeah, now it's the opposite. The bailout of the day is irrelevant. What is relevant is that the Fed has lost control, and the administration, the failures of the executive branch may come home to haunt us, right? Like the whole mixed together. This is not the story. Fed, ECB, others taking coordinated steps to administer dollar liquidity. In other words, money is free. The printing press is on. And has anyone noticed that stocks and bank stocks have not gone up? I have. Bank stocks not going up. Bank equity is going to get wiped out. Meaning if you hold stocks and you hold bonds of a bank, you are going to get wiped out to zero at some point in 2023. And the government is going to nationalize the banking system. If you look at the Chinese character for crisis, it's a mixture of danger and opportunity. And yes, I know we're not in China, but the administration is going to use this as a way to nationalize the banking system, at least the regional banking system, and put us all on CBDCs. Once this gets figured out, I think that's what creates the final mind-boggling Bitcoin parabolic, to be followed by sell in May and go away in April, or late April, just like last year. So a lot of people have been asking me about that. The Bitcoin Gann roadmap is coming. Don't go anywhere. 3 lessons from Web3 founders can take from ChatGPT success. As GPT-4 takes the world by storm, can crypto learn how AI attracted users? Okay. So this story is very interesting in that it basically tells you don't have to gear everything towards non-crypto people. You can gear some stuff towards non-crypto people, but you don't have to be obsessed with it. That if you actually gear it towards people who love it or people who love tech, they will eat it up. Personally, ChatGPT-4 has changed my life in terms of being able to understand Gann and cycle work. More on that later. Microsoft Edge testing built-in crypto wallet. Interesting, right? Crypto is dead, except for the guys that run ChatGPT. Crypto has never been more necessary, obviously. Right? And these big tech players, as predicted here on the market update, will have to embrace Web3. For Microsoft to have an advantage, for them to catch up to Google and finally, frankly, kick their butts, they're going to get into crypto. And so are all the rest of them. It is a question of time. Most likely, they're going to take advantage of what I think is going to be lower crypto prices in either June or October. More on that later. Don't go anywhere. Now, here is, let's go to PowerPoint. I'm going straight to PowerPoint. Okay. Okay, here we go on PowerPoint. Pro Bitcoin Solution, a forensics group that used to help people locate Bitcoin that they lost, is now in the tax business. So there's a link down below. Viewers get a total report for $149 and an Excel file that they can hand to an accountant, and it's $20 per coin instead of $40. There's also a discount on the report. Get the money out of your bank account. Just get the money out of your bank, right? Get the money out of your bank and send the money to Uncle Sam and let him put it in his bank. Now, what is the news and what is not the news? The news is not, oh, Silicon Valley Bank, oh, this bank, that bank, even Credit Suisse. Credit Suisse, who cares, right? We're not going to really know the impact of Credit Suisse probably until September, when there's 5 more Credit Suisse. Credit Suisse cheese, right? As one YouTuber calls it. It's a whole block of cheese. So who acquired it, and then bondholders get wiped out, and there's all this Wall Street legacy jargon. The entire banking system is insolvent. Meanwhile, the media is like, careless supervision at SVB. It's a Credit Suisse bailout. The Fed keeps making mistakes. The Fed makes tough decisions on interest rates. That's not the news. The news is you got to get out to your old Madonna albums. Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. I'm not going to sing it for you, but we're looking at a currency collapse. We're looking at a currency collapse now, or we're looking at a currency collapse in the fall, which is crypto paradise. This is your crypto dream world, except it'll probably look more like a nightmare. And then how to trade that and invest in that, we'll talk about it. But as usual, the media has the wrong story. Now, let's talk about how the Fed has done what it's done. Okay, so these are squiggly graphs about how the Fed has done rate hikes. So this was a slow, gradual rate hike cycle from 2015. And this is the Fed today, from 0 to 4.5 in 9 months. Now, as said on the market update ad nauseum, who thought the Fed was going to go from 0 to 4.5 without breaking something? I have the answer for that. Vladimir Putin. He knew the Fed was going to go from 0 to 4% and break something. And we walked right into the trap. So everyone's like, oh, well, you know, are they going to do a rate hike? Are they trapped? What's going to happen on March 22nd? Who cares? Whatever they say on March, whatever the Fed says, when they come out to do whatever they're going to do on interest rates, they're going to be wrong. If they hike rates and try to act like everything is okay, that's, I think, the worst case scenario. If they come out and they say, okay, we're done for now, we'll see you later, we're busy, the market probably gets wild and then stabilizes. Okay, so they don't really have a good option. Okay, but this is the story. When you raise rates like this, you get a financial crisis. That's where we are now. And then in the fall, you get a stock market crash. And then we got to trade Bitcoin around that and stocks, right? Because stocks may do better in the short term. Because again, what do you want? A share of Apple that's SIPC insured and sits in a AAA rated clearinghouse, or money in Schwab? Please, right? The Fed broke everything. So in the short term, anything but cash. Pay your taxes, Bitcoin, stocks. And then we'll come back to stocks in October, because in October, it's over for stocks. And that's probably going to be the buy of a lifetime in crypto. But we'll be scared. So as the Fed does what it does, as we, play this very interesting game, everybody is pouring their money out of banks and into money market funds. Now, what they don't realize is the money market funds may be holding short-term bank debt. So if it's a money market fund that holds treasuries, that'll be okay for now. But if the short-term money market funds, that the mutual funds, are holding bank debt, right, to give you interest, that could be a problem. But of course, the general public can't get enough, right? In other words, everyone's putting their money, everyone's going from danger, from definite danger to possible danger, which is why there can be one more lurch higher in Bitcoin off of this eclipse, or a lurch higher in Ethereum because people figure out that the transaction fees are low. Okay. That may be more of an issue at Christmas. So the general public is having a good time. They're going from certain danger to future danger. Okay. Now, Bitcoin, this is, a kind of a Fibonacci based structure. I'm studying this. It's interesting that, I'm new to this, but it's got April 7th as kind of a date. So the crypto party may last until April 7th, right? That's like 2 weeks from the eclipse. That's probably when you get some sort of blow off top, because you are going to get a blow off top, right? I mean, this could have been it, right? But there could be one more because people are over it. That's why the name of the stream is Buckle Up. And that's why I'm wearing a football helmet, because this could be some kind of gigantic all the way up, all the way back down correction. So if you're trading it, that's probably how I would do it, right? All the way up, much higher than you think. And then the sell in May and go away dip is deep and goes into June. And then you come back in July from your vacation and you just hoover it up for 2 months or more, depending how Bitcoin reacts during a stock market crash in the fall. That's kind of like the cheat sheet roadmap. We'll get more specific later. Bitcoin dominance. The bigger the base, the higher in the space. Okay. 2 lessons from this. One, Bitcoin is probably going to attack 48%. That's kind of like the blow off top. And then maybe ETH has a catch up week or two, right? But Bitcoin's probably going to break out of this box. Okay. And then in October, Bitcoin dominance is going to 72. Not investment advice. Okay. So it's very simple. In the short term, it's Bitcoin, right? In July and August, maybe you can have a little fun with altcoins, right? Altcoins, September, October, forget about it. Disaster. Okay. That's how Bitcoin dominance gets to 72. So want to have fun with all, nobody's having any fun with altcoins now, really. Okay. Because it's Bitcoin only. So the next time I think altcoins may do anything might be the first week of April or July. So if you're evaluating your altcoin portfolio, I don't think you have to hurry massively, but don't think you're holding it through the end of the year. Right. Don't. Unless you're okay with it going to zero and having you dollar cost average in the fall. So everybody's got to evaluate their altcoin portfolios in the next, say, 3 to 4 weeks. Right. Because starting in April, you could have Bitcoin sitting still or Bitcoin correcting and the rest of the market just getting decimated. Okay, here's why, right? So this is Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So this is Ethereum versus Bitcoin. A diamond, huge formation, epic. Goes all the way back to 2021. The ETH versus Bitcoin breaks down. There may be some sort of return move or not, based on the way diamonds behave. This is like the textbook diamond breakout. So ETH may have 1 or 2 weeks, but at the end of the day, ETH versus Bitcoin, as sad as it is going back to where it was in March of 2021. So ETH versus Bitcoin is going from 0.07 to 0.03. Big picture, right? Not tomorrow, right? If anything, ETH probably needs to, test 2000, right, on the final leg up in Bitcoin. But if ETH can't get through 1900 and then you're at sell in May and go away in a month, right? I mean, I think seasonals and the fact that there's an eclipse on April 20th, that's generally Bitcoin positive, in that the Gann work shows the Gann work for the eclipse shows that there's a change in how people view money, which is perfect for crypto, right? Doesn't get any better than that. Doesn't. Okay, so that's Bitcoin, but that's Bitcoin at the expense of everything else. And if it's Bitcoin at the expense of ETH, right? So ETH may have a couple days or a week or two in the sun, but after that, you got to reevaluate altcoins. Is this Bitcoin thing, say in July, is going to turn into a monster, an absolute monster? Okay, the dollar. This is the story that the media is missing. So the euro bounced off the 60-day moving average at 105, textbook, right? Bump and run. If it gets above 108, it's going to 119 for a very simple reason. The dollar is going to collapse, right? They have to print money. Confidence is lost. The banking system is insolvent. I mean, do I even have to say it? I have been dollar negative since last year, since the dollar was on the front page of Bloomberg Magazine. You know, I'd be happy to say it for people who are here. The dollar is done. That's why you have the price action you have in Bitcoin, right? That's why the Bitcoin rallies over the summer and even the Bitcoin rally after the stock market debacle in November. I mean, you could have insane parabolic moves if you can catch this thing as it's moving from trend to consolidation. And who knows, you know, during these bearish periods, maybe Bitcoin just goes dormant, doesn't move. You know, that would be the worst case scenario for bulls, right? Up and this way. DXY, same deal, right? Fails at the 60-day moving average. I made fun of this whole uptick mercilessly. Yes, I did grant that somebody did get 106. You know, real smart guy. I was like, wow, they upticked this thing to 106 dollar index. Oh, excellent. Takes out 102.36. I can start drawing 92. I think it's going to 80 by the end of the year. Right. In other words, you have a stock market problem in October. It is down only in the dollar. And I think that's what's going to fuel the summer rally. Because, you know, everyone's writing about this bank bailout, that bank bailout. That's the wrong idea. The right idea is what is going to happen to the currency. That's why I started the show talking about failures both at the Fed level and at the executive branch and foreign policy. Right. The dollar has to get devalued in order for this to get resolved. In other words, when does the banking system crisis end? What is the end game? Right. The first time in 2008, it was QE. But now they've resorted to QE and it's not working. Now, it'll probably take the stock market a couple months to figure that out. Stocks are probably going to be okay because, again, anything's better than the bank. But if you have a currency crisis or you have a cyber attack or you have some sort of geopolitical event, that's it for stocks. And that's it for the dollar. And that's the dawn of crypto. You're just going to have to trade around the volatility. Now, let's talk about VIX. You've heard of VIX. That's the fear index in equities. You probably also heard, or maybe not, that VIX is manipulated by the Fed. It's how the Fed controls the stock market. They use S&P options, okay, which make up VIX to control the stock market. So we can't look at that from a TA point of view. We have to use something called MOVE. MOVE is like VIX for bonds. So the more movement, you have in the bond market, the higher MOVE goes. The higher MOVE goes in terms of bond market volatility, the more completely hosed the entire system is. And the person who invented MOVE said that MOVE above 150 means the Fed has no control. The Fed has lost control of the system. MOVE hit 196 this morning. It's currently at 180. The entire 2008 crisis was above 150. Okay, they did QE to get themselves out of this, and they don't have a choice. They're doing QE now. It's not working. It's not working, right? Which is why people are going to buy Bitcoin on every dip, even though the dips are going to be nasty, right? Which is why they're probably going to hold on to stocks in the short term. Seriously. Like, you know, everybody's thinking a stock market crash now. Everyone's thinking a dollar crash now. I read this thing about $1 million Bitcoin. You know, that the United States has 90 days before we have $1 million Bitcoin and civil war. I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. Big thinker, thought leadership guys, they frequently are right, but they're always early. They're always early, right? And if you're buying Bitcoin at 30K on a blow off top because that guy said it's going to 1 million, you're probably going to wind up losing money and sell in May and go away and missing the real big trades, which is the summer rally and whatever rally occurs in Bitcoin in and around or after the stock market crash. So yes, the Fed has lost control. Yes, dire predictions or predictions about massively higher crypto are okay. They're okay. The good news is you got plenty of time to get ready. You got plenty of time to get ready. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's over tomorrow. Well, yeah, it may be if you're still holding your money inside of a regional bank, right? But, if you're still holding all your money inside of a regional bank, you haven't been listening to the market update. So if you're here for the first time, welcome. Okay. Everyone is like, don't panic. I don't want to create a bank run. I don't want to create a bank run either, but I don't want my viewers to get hosed. So the Fed has lost control. Okay. Bitcoin and gold are the ultimate forms of money, not investment advice. Ethereum will have its days in the sun, but don't underestimate what Bitcoin and gold can do because the Fed has lost control. Now, I work at a place called Emerging Asset Group. We have tokens, one for gold, one for water. This is GLDN. I obviously own this. Okay. I'm part of the team. Interesting that GLDN lately has been moving with 5 waves. It's been 5 waves up, ABC corrections down. We have 1 wave up, 2 wave down, 1 wave up, 2 wave down, 1 wave up, 2 wave down. If gold and Bitcoin go parabolic, okay, GLDN has a shot at its previous 4th wave at 1.4. So this pays you a reward in Pax Gold, and it's also the native token that will allow you to buy water, which I will remind you is the only thing that Michael Burry wanted to invest in. That's the big short guy after 2008. So there's a lot of hope for the project that I work at what you would call my day job. Gold holding support at 1973 like a champ. Okay, upside target is 2136. I actually think the upside target on this is much higher. Like much higher. Like the guy that had the $1 million price prediction for Bitcoin. Okay. Well, if Bitcoin goes to 250K, I had ChatGPT work that showed $40,000 gold. So if he thinks Bitcoin at $1 million, can you imagine where gold is? Here's a hint. Not 1900. Not even 4,000. Like higher than that, especially if you're doing a currency crisis, which again is not being written at in the newspapers at all. Okay. Monero, decent support. We're actually going to go over this on a show right after this over on Crypto Keep. So that'll be like our altcoin overtime. But what I want to do now is get over and check out who's in the chat and get to live TA. Get to the DeMark work because it matters. We have SFG here giving EAG some love. Steve J reminding you to smash the likes. However many likes we have, they're not enough. It's never enough. Realization likes the show. Welcome. Wrong Again is here right on time. Okay, Spin talking about gasoline at $200 a tank. Very possible. If you had a commodities account, right, somehow, not investment advice, commodities are hugely volatile. At somewhere here, you're going to need to hedge your everyday life with something other than Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin might give you a hedge, but, you got to seriously think about it. Getting some love here from Debate Crypto. Right after this, we will be switching over to Debate Crypto, right? My prepper friends. I've been telling these guys for 2 years. One day, prepping is going mainstream. We are here. D is here. Welcome. Greg. Right? I think Pancakes and Peanut Butter grabbed some Solana at 20. Okay, let's get into live TA. Let's do Bitcoin. So we talked about this. We talked about buying it on the 4. This is DeMark work. This is a certain set of conditions. So DeMark was the original quant technical analyst, right? When you get a 1, that means a set of conditions is in place. Like the high is higher than the high 2 days ago, something like that. Right? Every day that condition is present, you get a number. The first part of a trend goes 1 through 9. Then when you get to 9, you either get a top if you're in a range, or you get a nasty flush. You get a counter trend move, which, I guess, I don't know. Today, the last 3 days, everyone's taking profits. Maybe you get a flush down here, maybe. But if this thing flushes and comes back, you could have 13 more days, which brings you out to April 7th. So you could have some kind of wild thing where it's like way up, flash crashing, way up, right? And then everybody buys the top and then it corrects. So the eclipse is great for Bitcoin. The only problem is everyone knows that. But theoretically, there's 13 more up days here. So if you go to the 4-hour chart, really, I'm not seeing a sign of a top. There is heavy resistance at 28K that people are respecting, right? There's a 13 and a 9 top here on the 4-hour chart, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. Okay, Ethereum, very similar read. Very similar read, right? Everyone talking about resistance probably. I mean, I talked about it. Okay. So what they're going to do is they're going to wick through all of this. All of this here, they're just going to wick it. Right? So here's your 9 top. Like you have your 9 bottom. It's like textbook, right? 9 bottom, right? And then 9 top. And then come back down and turn around and smoke higher. Right? It's like, yes, this is underperforming, but I don't know that you would ever want to be short this, because when they wick this thing up, it's going to be nasty. It's going to be nasty. Okay, here's Ethereum on the 4-hour chart. Again, not to belabor the point, 13 and 9 top didn't move, just not moving, right? 90-minute chart, 13 top comes off, right? Support at 1708. So, hey, you may get lucky. You may get 1700. You may get one more dip. Okay, altcoins. Now you're dying for that. Let's figure out what to do with altcoins. Okay, Solana 4-hour chart, right? So this is your classic example of like the crazy wick, right? Crazy wick up to 24.21. Okay, they're bringing it back. Like I said, with Solana, I'm guessing, like ETH, there's going to be one more big new high up through here, right? Right up through there. So they'll buy the dip. You see this 4, they'll buy the dip on the 4, right? And then this thing will probably have like 5 or 6 more big up days before it tops out, right? Avalanche, I mean, this is funny. Avalanche hit a 13 bottom. Amazon is firing everybody. And my guess is that you're going to wind up seeing 20 on a wick up, right? And when you get that wick, okay, you best think about what you're doing here. You best think about that. Right? In other words, if you got an altcoin, you better get a move in the next month. You want to see the next 30 days. You want to see your altcoin pump, right? Like ICP. ICP is down here. It's got support at 5. It's got a 9 bottom, but you don't know that this is not some kind of like failure up here. And it's going to start counting the other way. Beware of Bitcoin. Okay, XRP. So XRP, your alternative banking system, should be going up. Here is the 4 where you would want to be grabbing it on the dip. Okay, one thing that may bring all this is a wick up in XRP. Either that or XRP wins the court case, and that's your July bottom. Okay. Now, the SEC is a joke, right? I mean, if you have a currency crisis, good luck going in front of a judge with the spurious stuff that they've been spouting. So, I mean, the XRP army has to deal with volatility, but they've been dealing with volatility for so long, it really isn't a big deal to them. Okay, let's take a look at like your Cardanos. Okay, so Cardano is the opposite, right? It's kind of started a down move. It looks like a great candlestick, but it's a 4. Okay, now there's nothing wrong with Cardano at all, right? But Cardano has got to get through 35 cents. Now, my hope is that you get like, this is a 90-minute chart. So let's go to the daily. Okay, my hope for Cardano is that this is a 13 bottom. There's another 13 bottom. And then there's going to be this catch-up rally in altcoins. So if there's another down day in Cardano, that could be the bottom and you could head towards 40 cents. Which I wouldn't be shocked if you got some big wick through 40 cents on that altcoin catch-up rally. Right? Which people will be wearing lampshades on their head. So yeah, I'm all about this. You're going to get the 13 bottom and then it's going to go. Right? Altcoins will have a catch-up rally. Some bigger than others. I mean, you'll know. Mr. Market will tell you what altcoins are going to make it. Willimeter, East Tennessee in the house. Double AN, Driftless, hello. Welcome. Right? Juan wants to know if he should keep DCA'ing in Algorand. Okay. I think DCA into altcoins, unless you know you're holding it for 3 years, better to do active portfolio management, in my opinion, because you don't know what's going to go on in equities, right, in the fall. You may be fine. I mean, it's not like, oh my God, you have to get out of this right now, because this is like the bigger the base, the higher in the space, right? I mean, I'm going to tell you to get out of this. I'm not telling you to get out of it. I just don't know that you do DCA. I think you do DCA in the fall when it's dropping. Don't do DCA when it's in a range. That's just me, right? Because if you DCA now and it falls apart, then what are you going to do? Right? Wrong again wants to know if total 3 is going to hold. No, but let's look at the chart. Sorry, I'm being a smartass. Okay, here's total 3. Okay, so this is total altcoin market cap. Put it with daily chart. Okay, so the good news is that total 3 is above its 60-day moving average. And as long as that's the case, everything is fine, right? However, total 3, let me just label this. Okay, total 3, by the way, is total altcoin market cap without Bitcoin or Ethereum. So it's above its 60-day moving average. That's good. They ran the stops. Okay. Now, can total 3 just sit here? Yes. Can total 3 wick up? Yes. Right? Do you want to be holding total 3? Do you want to be holding altcoins for sell in May and go away after the eclipse? No, even not. Right? The eclipse is constructive for crypto. So, altcoins may sit here. Some of them might spike, right? The altcoins that do well over the next month are the ones that you want to buy the daylights out of in, say, July and probably November. More November, I'm guessing, because you got to be careful of speculative assets. So this is a good time for the total 3 lecture. Right? Everyone is like, Bitcoin is the savior of us all. The dollar is going to 0. You're hearing some of that. However, what people are not talking about, which is what happens to speculative assets when you have crises, banking system meltdowns, administrative policy error, altcoins can do okay, right? Well, altcoins are probably not going to beat Bitcoin, and in a down move, you're going to be vulnerable, right? So I'm not hating on your altcoins. I'm just trying to get you to understand what an altcoin is. Like people are like, well, Bitcoin is no longer a risk asset. Yes, it is. It's just outperforming, right? But what about the other risk assets in the crypto space? And my comment is, what about it? Right? I mean, if Ethereum can't stand up against Bitcoin, how is your altcoin going to do it? And if you get this massive rush higher into alts, especially after whatever hootenanny the Fed comes out with, you best evaluate what goes on. Don't wear a lampshade on your head. I mean, you're going to get the rally, but you're at the top end of a regression band here. This is, what is this? Oh, this is just a parallel channel. It's straight up and down. So, maybe you got more room in altcoins. Maybe you got more room to like wick through this. You're probably going to get it. And when you get it, you're going to know which altcoins are going to survive all the dips and the stock market problem in the fall. That's late. Okay. I'm just trying to get you like ready to say, all right, just because my altcoin is up doesn't mean I have to stay in love with it. If my altcoin is up, active portfolio management is going to be absolutely essential. You are not doing active portfolio management starting April 7th. You are probably going to get caught in the down trades and miss the up trades. It's not investment advice. It's just my opinion about how the market is going to move. Okay. King needs help in ANKR. Okay. So these spike ups in altcoins, like particularly if you get 2 or 3 of them at a time, it's not always a good thing. Not always, right? So you got the 9 top, okay? And you got a counter trend rally, but you got to get through a DeMark point at 0.040. So this is level dependent, right? If they take out 0.040, it's great because you do have a 5-wave bottom here. So this is actually hopeful. This is hopeful, right? If you got a sustained breakout in this might be okay. Let's throw in VeChain. Amazing we can't get love on the supply chain front. See what the daily chart says. Okay, so VeChain may be just waking up, right? You got a 9 bottom, and it's kind of gone sideways. So like I've been saying, you may get a wicked 7-day altcoin rally. Like, make no mistake about it, this could get wicked, right? Synthetix is another great example. Right? 9 top, nasty dip, right? This could start counting the other way if they take out 3.23. Somebody in DeFi is going to win here because, nobody's putting money in the bank. So somebody from DeFi 2.0 is going to do okay. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody from DeFi 1.0 is going to be okay. Okay. Don't fall in love with altcoins. Let's sum it up. Okay. Mistakes the Fed keeps making. Okay. That's what the media will say after the Fed gets done. They will say nothing good about the Fed. What they have not figured out yet is that a dollar crisis is brewing, which is going to help Bitcoin, which is going to help ETH at some point. But the rallies in Bitcoin this year could be spectacular. What you're seeing now at any spike above 30, like any major blow off top, that's a warm up because there's going to be a July, August one, and there's going to be a November, December one. Like I'm just talking about, it'll be like way up, way down, way up, correct. That's not exactly scientific, but the dollar index is going to 92. Okay. That's good for crypto. What I want from you is, right, you got to survive whatever's going on at the retail level, weirdness with bank deposits. Then you got to get all your crypto position right. And the biggest lesson of all, don't buy euphoria and don't sell despair. Bank stocks down 15%. Don't go buying puts. Not investment advice. Right? Bitcoin up 32K. All over the press. Bitcoin taking over the world. New reserve currency. Bitcoin at $1 million. Maybe in September or July. Okay. All right. So due to doctor's orders, there will be, this will be the market update for the week. I have been ordered to take 7 days off. Don't worry, I'm not going to die, but I'm off for 7 days, doctor's orders. So that is the market update. We're going to hop over to debate crypto. I'll see you over there.